There's many different views, and there's at least one counter based on who the woman is. So, for example, here, Bible U holds a pre-tribulation rapture. Appreciate our pre-tribulation rapturous friends being here to engage. He says the woman / child is Israel / Christ, but then it skips to the future. So before you respond to that, though, Pastor, and then Curious Christianity says, I guess he doesn't believe that Satan persecuted the woman in Revelation 12 then. That is an interesting view. So it's going to come down to the question, who is the woman? Your three main views from my study are the Virgin Mary, Israel, and the third view is just humanity in general. Eve, the seed of the woman that would come, would bruise the head of Satan. He'd bruise his heel. So the question is, who is the woman? And what's the best view out of those three, Pastor?
Well, I think that this goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden. So you have the serpent, because that's something that's being brought up about the dragon, is that he's called the old serpent, and how the serpent is going after the woman. So you think about the fact that it says the big prophecy in Genesis chapter 3 is the fact that there's going to be enmity between thee and the woman, right? And then it's going to be between thy seed and her seed. So that's why in Revelation 13, you see actually it's between the Antichrist, the son of perdition, right? Or the wicked one, that you have that between the saints. So I believe it goes all the way back to that. So the woman, who is Eve, the mother of all living. So the woman would represent obviously mankind as far as a whole. But, when you're looking at Jesus being born, he wasn't just born by any woman. Okay, so and he didn't just have any line. Obviously, he came through Abraham, through David. And so the idea of the 12 stars, I do believe, represent the fact that she was of Israel, right? So obviously of Abraham, specifically of David, of Judah down to David. And so it shows you that obviously Jesus is the seed of David, the seed of Abraham. And so that's showing you that when we're talking about the child that's being born, we're talking about the Lord Jesus. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it would in turn, like the actual physical woman that gave birth to Jesus is Mary, but she was also of Judah, of David, or of David, of Judah, of Abraham, and going down the line. So, but when the woman is in the wilderness and the serpent's coming after the woman, it's the same thing that you see in the idea that there's going to be enmity between the woman. It says, I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So, I think it kind of it goes all back to that. And so, in turn, if you're gonna take Revelation 12 and 13, what you really see is that the first 3.5 years, which I believe is dealing with like the beginning of sorrows, where you have pestilences, you have wars, rumors of wars, you have all these different things that are going on. It's upon the whole world. And so that stuff is affecting everybody. But then there's a shift. And the second part of that 7 years, you have the abomination, desolation, all that, and you have the Antichrist. And now he's going specifically after the remnant of her seed. So now you're not just dealing with the fact that it's basically this whole thing going over the whole world. Now it's focused in on the saints. And so that's where you have the war with the saints, with the Antichrist. And so, it's taking it from like all of mankind to a specific group of mankind, which are the saved. So.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense of Revelation 12, because it lines up perfectly with Revelation 6 and the 6 seals, where, and correct me if I'm wrong, Satan at first is going out against humanity in general. World at war, famine, pestilence. And then eventually he shifts his focus after he comes to full power through the Antichrist, the false prophet, the unholy Trinity in general. And then he shifts his focus to, as you said, the saints. which is perfect timing because the Great Tribulation then will be Great Tribulation, such as was not until the beginning of the world until this time. And so now it's a subgroup, right, of humanity, the saints.
Yep.
Yes.